In today's video, when we talk about the word system, we're not referring to any specific cultural, political, or religious framework. Instead, we're addressing the underlying mechanism that seems to drive all these systems, the forces that influence various human behaviors and emotional states, such as anger or anxiety. Essentially, it's about our subjugation to the caprices of our environment. As we delve into the human condition, it becomes evident that many of us are profoundly swayed and controlled by external forces. Our mood frequently depends on achieving what we desire from the outside world, while we experience distress when it takes things away from us. The validation and rejection from others deeply impact us. Praise elevates our spirits, whereas disapproval brings us down. Interestingly, the more intensely we crave something, the greater the sacrifices we're willing to make to get it. Conversely, the more we detest something, the steeper the price we're ready to pay to stay away from it. These cycles of longing, aversion, affection, animosity, and preferences trap us in a constant state of fear, rendering us vulnerable to manipulation through tactics like blaming, shaming, and the seductive promises of external entities such as political parties, major corporations, and cults, all of which are trying to take for something from us. In this way, the world exerts control over us, leading us on like a donkey following a carrot, with many of us complying from birth to death, much like livestock. But what if we decided to reject the carrot? What if we opted to break free from this system? The ancient teachings of Stoicism centers on achieving liberation from the whims of our surroundings. It's crucial to understand that finding freedom from this system doesn't mean dismantling our environment. The external world isn't the issue. The universe operates as it will, and though we may have some influence, we cannot control it entirely. The external conditions, such as rain, sunshine, and wind, that affect a farmer's crops, impose themselves upon us. These conditions themselves aren't the system. Rather, our subjugation to them is what creates the problem. So why do we let the currents of fate carry us away so easily? Why do even minor misfortunes and strokes of luck manipulate our feelings like marionettes? Epictetus, a legendary Stoic philosopher, sheds light on this. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the principles and notions they form concerning things. For example, death isn't intrinsically dreadful, as Socrates' viewpoint illustrates. The fear stems from our own perception of death as something horrific. Therefore, when we encounter obstacles, disturbances, or sorrow, we should assign the blame not to external factors, but to ourselves and our own principles. The system continues to exert its control as long as we are feeding into it. The more we are attributing our misfortunes and fortunes to forces beyond our control, the more our emotional state becomes a matter of chance. Thankfully, Stoicism provides profound wisdom to help us escape this system. Now I will present you the 7 Stoic principles that can guide us toward replacing a life marked by vulnerability, unpredictability, and turmoil with one of serenity and freedom. As always, I want you to stay strong and watch until the end. 1. Stay cheerfulness. Keep your cheerfulness intact, no matter the circumstances. Reflect for a moment. How much time have we squandered wishing for favorable outcomes while dreading the arrival of miserable events? How much time have we spent in distress because the future didn't align with our expectations? Humanity has become proficient at fighting with fate, and as a result, enduring the inevitable suffering it brings. Our resistance to uncertainty has turned into a profitable industry, and our dread of adversity offers a prime opportunity for exploitation. Many offer us promises of a better future, presenting illusions of protection, safety for ourselves and our loved ones, and guarantees of escaping unpleasant circumstances. As we become captives of our desires and aversions, we attempt to outwit fate by manipulating our surroundings to avoid misfortune. However, it's impossible to lock every door in the expansive mansion of life, nor can we walk every street and alley of reality. Despite investing significant time, effort, and resources into protective measures, fate remains supreme. Thus, the real escape from this system is accepting whatever comes to us rather than paying a steep price to futilely resist what's inevitable. By adopting this mindset, we are less likely to let others exploit our fears and will experience fewer disturbances when faced with adversity. Seneca insightfully remarked, "Why then should we be angry? Why should we lament? We are prepared for our fate. fate. Let nature deal as she will with her own bodies. Let us be cheerful whatever befalls and stoutly reflect that it is not anything of our own that perishes. 2. Stop caring about your reputation. For Stoics, reputation is considered a preferred indifferent, a desirable but not an essential element for true happiness. While it's nice to have a good reputation, it's not crucial for our inner contentment. Moreover, like all external factors, reputation ultimately lies beyond our control. Many people invest their entire lives in carefully building a positive reputation, only to see it crumble from a single error. Conversely, some individuals live lives of misconduct and disregard for social norms, yet they may unexpectedly achieve fame and admiration. This clearly shows that reputation is as fickle as the wind. The more we attach value to our standing, the more we become dependent on others' opinions, which are inherently uncertain. Furthermore, when we overly fixate on how others perceive us, we open ourselves up to manipulation and we give them a chance to exploit us, effectively becoming slaves to our environment. Epictetus suggested that our quest for a good reputation should not compromise our mental state. We should be prepared to accept experiences such as shame, criticism, rejection, and ridicule if they lead us to achieve inner peace and freedom. These states of tranquility are within our control and remain unaffected by and independent from the judgments and opinions of others. 3. Mastering the art of endurance. When we encounter unfavorable situations, our first instinct is often to seek an immediate escape, yet such a solution is not always available. As a result, we frequently resort to complaining, lamenting, and feeling despondent, convinced that we deserve better things. In reality, we are not inherently entitled to anything, and often the most effective way to deal with a situation is to simply cope with it. How frequently have we deviated from our chosen paths, compromised our moral principles, or abandoned our values merely because we disliked enduring discomfort? Pain holds significant power, leading even virtuous individuals to engage in unethical actions or refrain from performing righteous acts. Pain serves as an instrument for control, and in our attempt to escape it, we often fall into the trap set by those who wish to dominate us. As a result, we become willing to exchange our freedom for temporary relief from suffering. If facing painful situations is proving difficult, we can look to the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. His meditations remind us that endurance is not necessarily bad. It can be purposeful, offering benefits even if its outcome might be death. Marcus Aurelius stated, "Everything that happens is either endurable or not. If it's endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. If it's unendurable, then stop complaining. Your destruction will end it as well. Remember, you can endure anything that your mind can make endurable by considering it in your interest to do so, whether it's in your interest or in your nature." This perspective is akin to Albert Camus' interpretation of Sisyphus, the figure from the Greek mythology. Condemned by the gods to eternally push a boulder up a hill, Sisyphus's path to freedom lay in fully accepting his fate, transforming his punishment from a burden into a form of liberation. Number 4. Detaching from others. Forming strong attachments to others can lead to deep and often harmful repercussions. Such bonds might bring us to a point where our fear of losing the person we're attached to starts controlling our lives, pushing us to take desperate measures to avoid the inevitable breakup. Epictetus provides stern yet impactful guidance on our attachment to things we cherish. He suggests that we should view our attachments for what they truly are, destined to eventually break or perish. He teaches us to remember that our affection should extend to broad categories rather than specific instances. For instance, if we love a cup made from ceramic, our fondness should be for ceramic cups in general, not just that one cup. This perspective helps us remain composed if it breaks. Similarly, when we express love to our child or partner, we should see them as human beings so that their passing does not completely devastate us. Number 5. Stop getting attached to material possessions. Another crucial principle is the release of material possessions. The societal rat race, where individuals dedicate endless hours to jobs they don't like and endure grueling routines, is fueled by an unrelenting quest for material wealth. We are conditioned by society to believe that happiness depends on various external factors: a particular income, social standing, a select group of friends, or or a house in a good region. Without these, we are led to think that true happiness remains out of reach. Yet it's essential to challenge the value of these pursuits. These ambitions mainly fall within the realm where fate and fortune reign supreme. Chasing after them is much like grappling with forces beyond our control, forces we can never truly conquer. In his letters to Lucilius titled On True and False Riches, Seneca scrutinizes the worth of material possessions, opulent couches, ornate furniture, and others. Do these items genuinely bring us joy, or are they merely props for displaying a facade of a fulfilled life? Seneca asserts that our happiness should not hinge on external factors, whether it's wealth like gold and silver, or even fundamental needs like water and meals. Adopting this view frees us from being swayed by external circumstances, no matter how insignificant they may seem. Furthermore, Seneca emphasizes that true freedom is not enjoyed by those minimally affected by fortune, but by those whom fortune has no power over at all. He draws on the teachings of his mentor, Aurelius, highlighting that by focusing on these concepts, we strive not just to appear content, but to genuinely achieve happiness, finding satisfaction within ourselves instead of seeking external validation. Number 6. Empowering our reactions. Empowering our reactions is essential when we encounter provocation, abusive remarks, or any effort to offend us. Our automatic response often leans toward anger and bitterness, which in turn gives others the power to affect our emotional state. This dynamic causes our happiness to become entangled with the actions of other people. People exhibiting negative traits, whether they're toxic, narcissistic, or selfish, can infiltrate our lives like persistent storm clouds, aiming to drench us in their malice and cause us distress. Nonetheless, we have a critical choice in how we respond. Viktor Frankl wisely observed, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. When we react to these people with fear or anger, we effectively relinquish control over our emotional state. On the other hand, by choosing indifference, we prevent them from invading our hearts and minds, leaving them to merely affect the space around us. Making this choice helps us protect our freedom and maintain our inner peace. The lesson is straightforward. We are only bound by our circumstances if we allow ourselves to be, or if we fail to recognize our ability to choose freedom. Number 7. Accepting the inevitability of death. Embracing our mortality is a core tenet of Stoic philosophy. It's often said that the root of all fears lies in the fear of death. Much like the fear of pain, our fear of death can profoundly influence how we live our lives. Stoicism teaches that leading a virtuous life is of far greater importance than merely living a long one. Although we cannot control how long we live, we do have control over the quality of the life we experience. Our fear of death can lead us to live in a constant state of avoidance, seeking to escape any hint of danger and clinging to false senses of security. This fear transforms us into anxious followers of any leader, promising us an extended moment of safety. Yet no leader can shield us from the ultimate truth of life, the eventual dissolution of our identities and the return of our physical forms to nature. Fearing death is not only futile but potentially harmful, as it might keep us from living boldly and virtuously. Marcus Aurelius posits that death is as natural as growth, aging, or the first gray hair. Everything that exists will eventually fade away and transition. A wise person should not meet death with apathy, impatience, or scorn, but should instead accept it as a natural and inevitable part of existence. Just as we expect a child to be born from its mother's womb, we should also anticipate the moment when our soul departs from its earthly form. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've made it this far, drop a comment to let me know you watched till the end. Thank you so much for your attention. See you soon.